that it's extremely important to have a really good banking partner, especially when we're looking at very time-sensitive transaction execution.
One of the important aspect, if all the partners in this system has to succeed, is platforms and partnerships. Both is very important. So we have to create platforms and also partnerships.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the second session in the FinTech track. I'm really excited to be having this really candid conversation with Krishnakumar Dharmaraj. He heads the transaction banking, commercial banking, and financial institutions practice at Standard Chartered Bank, and has been a career banker who specializes in transaction banking, trade finance, supply chain, and cash management. I'm really excited to speak to Mr. Dharmaraj because he's kind of been responsible for the transaction banking business and financial performance at Standard Chartered Bank. Right? And he's been extremely active in the fintech space and has been responsible for a lot of digital solutions and partnerships with many fintechs. And he leads the fintech initiative from a product perspective at Standard Chartered Bank. So I'm going to spend the next 20 minutes having this candid conversation with Krishnaraj Dharmaraj, who's also fondly known as KK. So I'll address you as Mr. KK. And for everybody else, I'm Meghna, Suryakumar, founder and CEO of Crediwatch. We provide AI-powered insights to lenders and institutions, and I'm really excited as being a part of the fintech space myself to have this conversation. So, KK.
Yeah, Meghna.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So, first I kind of want to know, in terms of your, how did you transition from traditional banking, trade supply, cash management, and lead this initiative at Standard Chartered Bank, where you're working with cutting-edge fintechs?
Good question. Thank you so much for a nice opening question, Meghna. So we are challenged. Okay, if you see, fintechs are challenges. Which is happening for last 6-7 years. All the partners in the ecosystem of finance are challenged significantly. So we have found out this much early. Few years back itself, we saw that unless we innovate faster, we don't have an effective role to play in this space, in the fintech space. And fintech today is beyond what we can think of, which you know very well. So the fintechs are challenging us. So we thought of moving towards it. So if you see the Standard Chartered journey towards fintech, e-commerce, startups is started few years back. When we want to put our effort, our investments into this, we went around to see many of the companies. We met founders, we met CTOs, the operating team. What we can understand is, we'll be always surprised, because as a banker, my core competency is lending. These companies don't want any kind of fund, because they have funds already, plenty of funds. What we can talk technology, they are better technology. So what else we have to talk with these companies to get a rapport and what we can solve the white spaces there. So then multiple sessions we have done. In fact, I myself have engaged one of the fintechs to give me feeds on what kind of developments happening in each of the fintech sectors. For example, EdTech, what is happening, or in the health sector, what is happening. So they keep giving feeds, and that becomes a source of my talking points with these companies, and to find out what is there in as a bank to do. Then we found out that few of the things is very important. One is API. Unless instant is solved, everyone is looking for everything instant, and that is the space. So we started focus on building APIs. So we have a good stack of APIs today. We started co-creating APIs with various fintechs. And also we started having a team of API to convert new use cases, because every other day we are challenged with a new use case saying that can you do an API? So we started building this within country itself. So even though we are a global bank, we started building this within country itself. So the journey started with that, Meghna, and it is continuing.
So, as a follow-up question,
Yeah.
So how important do you think is this partnership approach between new age companies and banks? And do you think that if we're looking at a $1 trillion opportunity in the fintech space, what do you feel in terms of how important would these partnerships be? And can you talk about more specifically in some of the use cases where you've been able to have such partnerships and the impact?
Absolutely, Meghna. So, one of the important aspect, if all the partners in this system has to succeed, is platforms and partnerships. Both is very important. So we have to create platforms and also partnerships. So we started in this journey also. If you see payments as a landscape today, it is evolving a lot. The payment platform we have started building many years back. We want a futuristic payment solution. So if you have heard of the transaction per second (TPS), we want one of the leading or much ahead of other partners in this. So we started building that. Another one, if you see, many of the banks or the partners will be there. It is like a funnel. The data flows happens in a wide mouth. However, this is coming into the infrastructure of the banks. It will be controlled. The speed will not be there. The volume handling capacity is not there. So we solved all these things. We started a journey of creating a new age payment platform. So we have an SC Pay payment platform. What it offers is high volume handling capacity. So today's fintech's growth is no more an year on year. We know that is month on month. So just an example, one of the food tech partners, when we started payments, we started with the 30,000 as payment volume. And it was multiplying month on month. And today it's almost 2.5 million volume of payment. So you require a huge volume handling capacity as a bank. Not only the front end channel, the entire IT infrastructure has to cope up with this volume. Speed at which you give back the feeds. So that also we have built it. Various kinds of data analytics, what we can give, real-time intimation. So partnerships matters a lot. So one of the use case, if you see the example which I am quoting on the food tech industry is that the challenge was when the payment, see this particular company's trust is mainly on how timely they make payment to their partners, various partners, which is into lakhs, 300,000, 400,000 partners. If you effect the payment, one, you require a real-time payment to the partners, 24/7, intimation back into the ERP of the company so that they can handle their volumes effectively. Query can be addressed properly. All this has been solved through an use case which we built for them. So today, if you see, it's seamless. Their partners are getting timely payment. Information flows back into ERP, and the query handling is significantly reduced in them because it's almost everybody is getting information on a real-time basis. So partnerships is utmost focus for us. Platform creation is also very, very important. So we create both.
So can we safely say that the partnership that you've had with this food tech startup has kind of been instrumental in them scaling their own business?
Absolutely. So one part of their pain point is addressed. See, otherwise there is a huge impact on whether their payments is going to the thousands of partners, and similarly backend system, whether how they are managing. But this partnership has able to address one of their pain points. They can focus on their business management or customer acquisition aspect of it.
So all the fintech entrepreneurs out there, right? I think one of the learnings we have while we're talking to Mr. KK is that it's extremely important to have a really good banking partner, especially when we're looking at very time-sensitive transaction execution. I think having really early partnerships where you can work on scaling and creating the right solution for you to be able to execute your own transactions, I think is an important thing that we need to do at an early stage. So can we delve into any other use cases where, because there are a lot of entrepreneurs listening, this is also going to go into a recorded session where, people will listen to it.
Absolutely. So multiple use cases are there. So one more I will explain is, see, this is one company in the financial sector itself. It's an aggregator of various kinds of credit cards, etc. So here the challenge faced by the company is that you have to make the timely payment to the issuing banks. But you have today, thanks to RBI and NPCI, you have various payment mechanisms available today: RTGS, NEFT, IMPS. So, how to select the right payment at the right time, and to whom the payment should go? The payment method, if you select one, the cost comes down. See, another important factor is these fintechs volumes are significant. Each cost for them is pinching the bottom line. If we can save the cost, it is tremendous. So we build a API use case whereby the system, the API selects what kind of payment method will be best for the particular type of payment at that moment and the beneficiary to whom it is going. So it chooses. So the client can send the payment file, but the API chooses what type of payment, whether it has to be an IMPS, whether it is an RTGS. So it brings that kind of analogy into this and affect the payment. What happens by this? One is just-in-time payment. So the funds flow is managed very, very effectively. You are not paying ahead. You are paying just in time. Second is the cost of payment has almost significantly reduced. So these both are straight bottom line benefit for the company. Today we are replicating with various other fintechs in the financial industry.
I mean, that's quite interesting. So not only can we scale our business, but I think we can save significant costs.
Absolutely. Today cost is also one. See, even the fintechs are receiving a lot of capital, they are burning, but also they have started looking how they can reduce cost. And whatever cost which is variable in nature, like volume, payment volume is a cost. How they can reduce is one of the important factor every fintech is now looking for.
I mean, if we look at the statistics, right, the entire industry, we lose about $100 billion a year in friction costs.
Correct.
So I think every solution where we could partner and use technology to reduce friction costs overall in banking, I think would add a long step into getting us closer to, our own fintech goals, right? This industry is growing, I think, on a huge CAGR year by year, and it's like $1 trillion industry we're looking at right now between SME lending and payments and, other solutions. So, they say that we have like a $1 trillion SME lending gap. So do you have any views in terms of use cases on SME lending as to how you could partner with banks and channelize this opportunity?
So from a fintech startup lending space, so when we started building the capability to fit into the white spaces, like I said, APIs or platforms, technology. But another important aspect which keep coming to us as a feedback is that they also have cash flow mismatches. And they are not short of funds, but cash flow mismatches are there because from the collections to the payment, there is a mismatch happening. So there is a short-term working capital need is also coming up in fintechs. So as a banker, if you see, normally we assess or we credit score, you are better in that, is through the balance sheet, correct? We see profit, where the profitability is there, what is the future projections, ratios, but nothing will work on fintech's balance sheet, right? The fintech balance sheet will not have a profit. They will be burning cash. So you have to have a different model. So we started a sandbox approach, how we can build a model internally, which is what Meghna is doing as a company, whereas we have done internally a sandbox approach, whereby what we have done is a balance sheet profitability is not the criteria to provide an working capital funding. It's more of how the cash flows are coming in, what kind of runway is there for the company on the cash, what type of cash burning ratios is there, how long this cash will sustain. There will be in various stages of funding, right? Series A, Series B. So when this fundings is keep coming, so these kind of analysis we do through a sandbox approach and started providing financial support to fintech startups, etc.
That's pretty interesting to know. So, if you look at the roadmap and journey in terms of where, the financial technologies in India are evolving from a banking perspective, what do you think the future holds in the next 2 years in terms of what do you think are the kind of technologies that we would see that would scale?
See, like I earlier said, fintechs is challenging. So the innovation is faster now. Innovation is happening continuously. That's why we are here as a banking partner. Otherwise, if we don't have this kind of wherewithal, we will not be courageous to come and sit here and talk. So innovation is happening for quite a long. But now the innovation is very fast. It's happening extremely fast pace. So that is one part of it. Second is the investments which is going on technology development is also is very important, because many of the fintechs is looking for banking partners to provide the backend technology. So when we met most of the fintechs or startups, their front end channels are amazing, because that is why their client love it. And their technology team will be fully engaged on developing and supporting the acquiring part, client acquiring part. But if you see the backend part, you really require a lot of support from banks, banking partners. That is the space where we started building our infrastructure technology. So if you see, if I go and tell a fintech that I will integrate with you through an API, first question will be, my IT team is too busy. They don't have time. They are busy in front end channel. So what we started building is, one is a new way of attempting to give service to fintechs. So one is, we call normally in the banking, relationship managers will be there, then somebody will service it. So we thought of, here is what is required is, you require an API specialist. You require platform executives, because that is what is required. Then we thought of, we also require very integration specialists, because if I go and tell I will do an integration with your system in 30 days, you will say thank you, I don't want, because they don't have time. So we build the integration space. So the future is evolving is a lot on platform, how we can quickly integrate, how we can speed up things, what are the ways we can reduce cost. All this put together, a lot of work happening in our bank. Definitely we are completely focusing on getting to the next level. That's why I said our platforms are already future ready. As far as our payment platform is concerned, future ready. The front end channels, so if you see normally in a bank, you will have internet banking as a platform, you log in, operate, etc. But none of you want that, right? You want a different channel for you. So that is what we build a next gen platform. We call it S2B next gen, where it is like an intuitive dashboard. It is not login, so it is more of a plug and play. It is not any transaction operations. You can drag and drop, and you get various kinds of insights on your own data. It's your own data. What kind of analysis you will get? What kind of surveillance we can give to you? These are some of the things we build. So this is what is coming up. How we can robustly support this space on where they want. These are the areas fintechs want. Yes.
I mean, that's really good to know that, that this kind of hand-holding and supporting the fintechs in their journey. And I think the very interesting idea of this low-code platform or no-code platform that you have, where you could just come and plug and play and get a lot of insights on the business and the surveillance, I think would add a lot of value to all the fintechs that work with you and all the new businesses that do sign up. Do you have any views on blockchain technology for fintech users?
Absolutely. So blockchain is coming a lot already. So we are one of the founding members. If you have heard of a blockchain company, Cantor, we are the founding members for Cantor, where it's more on the trade finance part of it. So you are digitizing various kinds of cross-border flows. How the cross-border flows are. See, today cross-border flows is more of paper, more of compliance requirement. It's not that easy. A lot of frictions are there. Cost also increasing. So we have become a founder member for Cantor, where we are digitizing these flows. So we have already done. If you see a documentary trade, we call it, where the transaction happening under a particular structure, we are also moving into open account trade in this space. So blockchain is one of the important, and of course other things like on the KYC, merchant data, AML, your anti-money laundering system, because all you guys are also thinking of expanding in multi-market. So another important aspect which we are seeing is the fintechs, when they grow in India, India gives volume. But the next aim is how we can make more and more profitability at a lean way. So markets like Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Hong Kong, Thailand, or Dubai, these are the markets all founders are started looking at. So we also started how can we support in all footprints fintech is going. So as a network, as a capability, so if I provided an API, a particular infrastructure in India, the same can be provided across your footprints. So it is seamless, same experience, and there we provide multiple use cases. It depends on the regulatory environment there. So this is going a lot in the space of blockchain. We are going, and digital contracts also is happening.
I mean, that's a very good insight. India has, I think, created over 15 unicorns just in the past 12 months, and a lot of them have global use cases. So,
Correct.
all the Sunicons out there, and if you want to go global, make sure that you have the right banking partner who can also help you in your journey outside India. So, as the last question, on a more personal note, are there any books you recommend that fintech entrepreneurs read? What are your favorite books?
So one, my favorite, I don't know, you have heard of Mark Benioff.
Yes.
Mark Benioff has written a lot of books. The one which I will recommend is Trailblazer. Trailblazer is an amazing book. Mark Benioff is written on his various experience. One is how you can build a scale, and second is how you can build a scale through a human approach. So Mark Benioff is also one of the founders where he believes human approach. So technology plus human, how that can be done. So Trailblazer is a great book.
So I hope everyone's noted it. Trailblazer is the book. So thank you so much, Mr. KK. It was really nice talking to you. So any last piece of advice for the fintech entrepreneurs?
Absolutely. So before I put the last piece, Meghna, it's really wonderful talking to you. You have a great company and right questions. I hope the audience would have got enough value on the time you guys have spent with us. Absolutely. As a last word is that banking or banking partners is no more a lending partner. We are here to do a technology partnership, digital partnerships, and how we can bring various efficiency model. So one part I will want to conclude is when we approach a fintech, what we say is that can we solve some of your processes? For example, recon. Can we do a reconciliation module which we can do through an API? So this kind of efficiency model we build. So banking partner for fintech is a very different approach, and we are ready for that. And it's a great engaging with you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. KK. It was a pleasure talking to you. And thank you, everyone, for being a lovely audience.
Yeah.